So let's go ahead and begin. So we have our sales training workshop today, the easy way to close high value excavation and septic jobs like a pro. So let's go ahead and dive right in. And this is part of our digital dominance method for maximum lead flow and profitability of your excavation or septic company. If you've been following along, we've been doing different webinars each month on marketing topics, from Google Ads to SEO to Facebook, everything. And in this webinar, what we're going to do is cover now, as leads come in, what are best practices for selling those jobs? How do we handle those calls? How do we go about getting contracts signed, collecting payment, and so on? And so that's what we're going to cover today. And if you stay tuned till the end, you're going to get our ultimate excavation and septic sales script. It's our exact sales script that you can print out for your excavation and septic business. And my promise to you is that by the end of this full webinar, you'll have a complete understanding of proven best practices for how to close more high value excavation and septic jobs. So who is this for? This webinar is for those of you selling excavation and septic services. And why am I doing this? Well, I believe in reciprocity, in that, you may not be looking to partner with a marketing agency at this time. However, you might know someone who is, or in the future, if you get value out of this, then you might want to come back and end up working together. So that's pretty much it. There's no ulterior motive other than, I'm just doing this to help you guys out if you sell excavation and septic services. And so the secrets you're going to learn today are the right questions to ask your prospects on the very first call that will increase your odds of closing the sale into high probability that it's going to become a customer. And this is going to work literally for any marketing channel that your leads come in from. How to sell your excavation services as an expert value proposition and not a lowest price commodity that, their neighbor can do for cheaper, so they'll go with them. How to avoid chasing tire kickers forever. How to stop getting ghosted after you send your estimates and speed up your sales process to the point where you're closing sales over the phone and collecting a deposit to boot. So this is a real game changer. And you'll get the free bonus that if you stay to the end, you're going to get a digital copy of our ultimate excavation and septic sales script that you can print out and use with you as you go out to bids. Okay, so why should you listen to me? I've got 14 years experience marketing outdoor contractor service-based businesses. In 2022, we shifted to only work with excavation and septic companies. I'm the published author of Excavation and Septic Internet Marketing Profits, the ultimate guide to successfully marketing your excavation and septic services online for high quality calls, leads, and bigger profits. We're associate members of NUCA, and I was just actually out there last week for the convention, and so that was a lot of fun. And we've worked with hundreds of business owners since 2008 to reach new levels in their business through effective marketing strategies and sales systems like you'll learn today. And our mission is to triple the sales of 500 excavation and septic companies. And by the way, if you want regular help with sales and marketing, join our free mastermind group. Just go to excavationmarketingpros.com/quick link. And you'll see at the top here, this one, Excavation Business Mastermind Group, that little brain icon. Go ahead and click that and you can join us online. So I need your attention, please. Turn off your cell phones, focus, close the door to your office, exit out of other browsers, remove distractions. If you're an excavation or septic business owner and you're serious about closing more high value excavation and septic jobs, the next 60 minutes are critical. So I've got a question. Do good sales skills matter for excavation and septic business owners? Go ahead and type into chat if you think they actually matter. Type a 1. I'm seeing some ones. Absolutely. Some of you are probably thinking, though, I do such good work, it sells itself. I really don't need to focus on sales skills. Or you might look at selling as something manipulative or slimy. Today, I will show you that's not the case at all. While I cannot cover all topics of selling excavation and septic services in this short webinar, what I can do is show you how to get to the truth about where your prospect's head is at quickly without wasting your time chasing tire kicker leads, and help you to line up high probability sales. And the thing is, to maximize your return on investment for your time and from marketing your business, you need to do more than just answer the phone and say, "Hi, we offer excavation and septic services. How can I help?" People do not always buy the lowest price, especially if they have good enough reason to invest more. You have competition going after the same jobs, so it's a good skill to have and can give you an advantage. And the ability to close sales gives you the advantage of being able to sell at higher prices using persuasive techniques. People with weak sales skills are usually forced to lower their prices to compete, earn less, and come across as desperate. Lastly, referrals can be few and far between. For those who don't know you, they will need convincing. So if all you have to offer them is the lowest price, then you won't be as profitable as you could be. So, do good sales skills matter for excavation and septic business owners? Yes, absolutely. And there's this thing called the man in the mirror. How many of you are familiar with this strange phenomenon? And many believe this to be true. Type in chat if you've ever heard of this before. I'm seeing some people, yep. The man in the mirror phenomenon states that our own behaviors attract mirror reflections of that. If a person always searches for lowest prices, in turn, they attract those types of customers. And if the person takes a while to think about it when making a purchase decision and tends to overanalyze that, in turn, they attract customers who also take a while to think about it and overanalyze the decision. So if the person selling the service is not the type of person to pay more for quality or expertise, the man in the mirror says that they will attract the same clientele without knowing it. Interesting, right? So is the man in the mirror phenomenon true? Type a 1 in the chat if you think that it's mostly true. Blake is giving me a 1. Keith is giving me a 1. Cindy, a 1. Okay, so some of you believe that. Yep, I think it's mostly true. So today, what I'm going to do for you is pull back the curtain and show you how to sell your high value excavation and septic services the high probability way. So you can maximize your sales process and have total confidence when giving your estimates. So who's ready to get started? Type in chat if you're excited about this. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Okay, let's get it going. So let's cover the basics of your first call. So the goal of the first call is to diagnose if you can actually help them. Figure out if they're the actual decision maker or if there's a spouse or partner involved. Figure out if they can afford your services right now. Figure out if they want or need your services right now. And figure out if they're ready to take action and hire you right now. Now, some of you are probably thinking, well, Scott, even if they don't want my services right now, they may someday. So I should go out there, right? Or, yeah, Scott, but if they can't afford to hire me now, maybe they can in the future. So I should spend my time with them. I'll be throwing away a lot of potential customers by not going out to meet all of them. Or, Scott, they'll think I'm just trying to hard sell them and not actually trying to help them. So my answer to all that is, the truth is only you can put the true value on your time. The only way you can truly help people is to sell them. You can't help them with your excavation or septic services unless they become a customer, right? So closing the sale is something you do for someone, not to someone. And I think we've all heard the saying, buyers are liars. Everyone will say they're not wasting your time and are nice until you ask them for money. But then they'll avoid you like the plague. Am I right? So chasing people who do not want, need, or can afford your services is a frustrating path and a lower probability way of selling than what you'll learn today. It wastes your time and money actually driving out there, spending time working up a quote and so on. And a month from now, the odds of them coming back, remembering your name or having that napkin they wrote your number on are quite slim. So I encourage you to try this and decide for yourself. Say to yourself, for the next 30 days, I will only focus my time and energy on serving those who want, need, and can afford my services right now. And a no today is always better than a no tomorrow or next week or next month. Everyone else is welcome to come back later when they're ready to take action. So let's cover the basics of our first call of what to say and, more importantly, what not to say. You're just asking enough questions to know if they're a good fit and a potential customer right now. Do not try and solve their problem on the call. Do not say too much, or you'll risk talking yourself right out of a sale. These calls should be brief, like 5 minutes tops. Your goal on the first call is to ask a few well-pointed questions and diagnose if they want, need, and can afford your services right now. So let's role play a common sales process for excavation and septic businesses. Okay, here's the way that most excavation and septic businesses operate. The prospect calls in. Do you guys do septic installations? And how much does that cost? And the typical excavation or septic business owner will say, yes, when can I come out? I do that, absolutely. When can I come out and take a look? Then you drive 45 minutes out there, find out they had no idea how much it would cost. They're not looking to do anything soon. They're not even the decision maker. So let's fix this situation. Let's pre-qualify them on the first call into a high probability sale. So the prospect calls in again. Ring. Do you guys do septic installations and how much? Here's another way you can try. Yes, we can help with that. I just need to get some basic information first. Would that be all right? Notice we start right off with a question to stay in control. Prospect says, okay, sure. Then you can say, are you the sole decision maker when it comes to the septic system, or is there a partner or spouse involved in the decision? A key note here, we only talk to decision makers. All right, so if they are not the decision maker, what happens? We end the call. Okay? So that's what happens. If they say, no, I'm not the decision maker, I'm not the one who's going to make the final decision, then you're done, because the person who you're talking to cannot cut you a check. They cannot give you a yes, they can only give you a no. Okay, so let's continue with our conversation. We will say that the prospect, Betsy Sue, is the decision maker. Yes, I'm the decision maker. Okay, now that we know it's the decision maker, you can take control by asking some more smart questions. Now, Betsy Sue, are we your first call on this, or have you received other estimates? We can ask this because it gives us a good indication how serious they are, or if they're just shopping prices. If they do have an estimate, ask for it. Okay, so if Betsy Sue says yes, you can say, well, would you be able to send me that? This way I can save you time and get you the best price. It kind of gives you an advantage if you know what they've already got in front of them. It gives you an idea of how to better make your bid. Now, let's see if they're ready to spend some money. We're going to do this. We're going to see if they're able to spend money before you actually go out there. So here's how we do that. Betsy Sue, now for this type of service, it usually requires us to design, mobilize, and operate heavy equipment. We tell clients it can be a meaningful investment to get all this set up and completed. It's not the cheapest, but it will set you up with success with your septic system for many years to come. With that understanding, how willing are you to invest in getting this done? You see what we did there? We're letting them know that it's not going to be cheap, that it's going to be an investment. And this is a subtle way of having them tell us if they're willing to invest or not. Because if they're not, really, we don't need to be talking to them at this point. When they're ready to take action, they can come back. So Betsy says, yeah, I'm willing to invest. You know, the water's taking a long time to drain out of the tub. There's an odor coming from the sink. So I know I've got an issue. Yes, I'm willing to invest to get this done. You can listen in this way. Did they waver? Were they straightforward with their response? You can hear that from their voice on the phone. Assuming they say, yes, I'm willing to invest, then we can move on. Okay, so we've got at this point, we've diagnosed, yes, we can help them. We've diagnosed they are the decision maker. We've diagnosed they are willing to invest. This is shaping up pretty well at this point, but we've got a little more work to do before driving out there. At this point, we know they're serious, somewhat. So we can tighten this up by asking, Betsy, let's just pretend I put together a bid, send you a proposal, and after you do your due diligence and like what you see, what's going to happen next? Notice we're not force selling them here. We're just asking them, what would you do? If I handed it to you on a silver platter and I put together a bid, sent you a proposal, and after doing your due diligence, you like what you see, what's going to happen next? They're going to tell us where their head is at and how likely they are to buy just by asking this one question. So it's a very important question. We're looking for something like this. The prospect says, I'd probably get started, or I would go with you guys. When they do that, don't just quickly move on. Get them to repeat it to you. And I'll explain why in a moment. So how we do that is we say, I'm sorry, what? So Betsy Sue says, I'd probably get started. And then very quickly, I'm sorry, what? Even though you heard them the first time, have them repeat it because this will further solidify their own thought and commitment moving forward with you. So there's some psychology involved in this, right? Now let's get into booking the appointment because we've confirmed they're the sole decision maker. We've confirmed that we can help them. We confirm they're willing to invest. And they've even stated that they'd probably move forward if they like what they see. So this is shaping up to be a great lead, but we're not done just yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to see if they're actually ready to pull the trigger at the time we give them the estimate. Here's how we button this up. Now, Betsy, we always want to be prepared when our new clients are ready to take action and not keep them waiting. Are you going to be ready, willing, and able to move forward after I give you an estimate with a credit card, check, or financing if you feel it's what you need? This is a very soft approach to seeing if they can actually afford your services right now. Without, being so blunt as to say, I'm going to ask you for a payment as soon as we get out there or whatever. This is a very soft way of getting them to say, yes, I do have funds available and I would be willing to move forward. Now, if the prospect says yes, that's great. Book the appointment and pat yourself on the back. That's a high probability sale, and they've just given you a verbal handshake. A quick note, if there is a partner or spouse involved, only book that appointment when they can both be there. Otherwise, you'll have to rely on them trying to sell the other person, which never works. And by the way, that if we go back to our initial conversation, Betsy, are you the sole decision maker when it comes to the septic system? Or is there a partner or spouse involved? If she said my husband would also need to be in on this, then you actually stop the call right then and there. Okay, and how you do that is you say, okay, Betsy, well, I'm going to need both decision makers on the phone. When would be a good time to call you back when your husband is available too? That's it. Then you proceed with the call how we just did. Okay, and what you're going to do is get them both to commit that they're willing to invest, that if they like what they see, would they be willing to move forward? You're going to get them to commit to the fact that would they be willing to move forward after an estimate with a credit card, check, or financing? If they feel it's what you need, you want to get a verbal confirmation from both of them. This way, you're covering all your bases before you get out to that appointment. Okay, let's keep going. Now, when you're at the appointment, get the info you need to work up your estimate. So go out there and do your job. The next steps for closing the sale are going to differ depending on if you're going to give them a quote right there on the site, or if you need to go back to your office and run the numbers. Let's assume you need to go back to the office, okay? That this is going to be a bigger estimate and you need to run the numbers first. Some time will pass and a lot can happen in a person's life to make them change their mind in just a few short days, including other competitors creeping in, right? So before you leave the site, try saying this. Betsy, I'll start getting to work on this estimate today. Now let's pretend I send you over this quote and you like what you see. What's going to happen next? Ideally, you want them to repeat what they initially told you on the phone before you drove out there. Okay? But now that you're out there, have them repeat it to you again. Well, I would most likely go with you, which if you've done your due diligence and you've covered all these questions, that's probably what she's going to say. So we're going to wrap up the appointment now. We're almost done. The appointment went really well. Good job. But we need to look out for any unforeseen circumstances that can kill our sale. All right, so here's how we do that. You can try saying this. Okay, right before you leave. By the way, Betsy, if my proposal meets all your conditions of satisfaction, including price, what, if anything, could you see possibly standing in the way of getting started? Here we're having her or him search for whatever could be lingering in the background that we don't know about. And this can bring up additional objections or issues that you did not know before. And it gives you an opportunity to cover those before you leave the appointment. Okay? Because you're right there in front of them. So it's very easy for you to handle these objections when you're right there in front of them. All right. So we're going to keep this one simple. And Betsy's going to say, no, you did a good job. And if I like what I see, I'll move forward. Okay, prospect says nothing. All right, so we've done a pretty good job covering all our bases and can go back and now do our estimate. We have one final step before we leave this appointment. Okay, so we're in front of Betsy Sue, and she's told us there's nothing standing in the way. What we want to do is not get ghosted after we send this estimate, which happens more often than not. So how do we handle that? We set up what's called an estimate review call. Okay, so let's cover your estimate review call. After coming this far and doing this much work, we definitely do not want to get ghosted after we send our estimates. So let's ensure that doesn't happen. Here's how we do it. Okay, thanks for your time, Betsy. Our new clients find it very helpful when we do a short estimate review call with them so they understand the breakdown of our estimates and I can answer any questions. Those calls are short and typically only take about 10 minutes over the phone. Would it be better for you to have that call next Tuesday or Wednesday in the morning or afternoon? And by the way, if they have a partner or spouse, make sure you schedule a time when they can both be there. Because if you just pitch one of them on that estimate, then you're relying on them trying to sell the partner or spouse, which never works. Okay, so this is how we do that. It becomes a natural part of our sales process to have an estimate review call. This way we ensure that we don't get ghosted, that if they want that estimate, they want that price, they're going to agree to have this short estimate review call with us. Okay, so Betsy Sue says, yeah, that's fine. Let's do Tuesday at 12 p.m. Okay, sure. So let's do it. Let's do the call. By this point, you've done an extremely good job at qualifying your prospect, and there's nothing left to do but to close the sale at this point. But if we're not careful, we can lose an easy sale. And one of the most common sales killers that I've seen excavation and septic business owners have trouble with is the "I need to think about it" response. Experts have done studies on this, and it shows prospects do not think about it. It's BS. They use that as a deflector shield to get rid of you. Another thing they'll say is, "I'm not the type of person who makes quick decisions. I need to think about it." It's the same thing. They're saying the same exact thing. They're putting that wall up as a deflector shield to get rid of you. Okay? I'm going to show you how to overcome this so it doesn't happen anymore. And it's just keep in mind that, that old adage, buyers are liars. It's true. They're just not convinced enough to buy from you, so they're using that as a deflector shield. So let's fix it. Try this. Okay, Betsy, now I've worked up your bid. We're actually going to do the call now. Let me say that. All right, so it's Tuesday, 12 p.m. Bring, we call her up. Betsy Sue answers. Betsy, now I've worked up your bid, and the purpose of this call is to go over it with you and see if we're a good fit to work together. Now, there's 3 things you could say to me. The first thing you could say is a yes, and that you think that you and I think it's a good fit, and we're going to move forward and we're going to do business. And that's fine. That's it. That's good. The second thing you could say to me is a no. I want you to know it's perfectly okay for you to say no to me. The third thing you could say, but I don't want you to, is I want to think about it, because I've been doing this for a long time. And usually when people say they want to think about it, what they really mean is no. I would prefer you just tell me a straight no. No hard feelings whatsoever. So before we get started, before we proceed, can we make a simple agreement that you're only going to tell me one of these 2 things, either a yes or a no? Is that fair? So what did I just do there? Type in the chat if you know what I just did there. Anyone? Blake is saying you took away their toughest objection. Yeah, what we did is we framed the outcome in advance, okay? We created a binary decision that it's a yes or a no, but a maybe or an I don't know is going to be unacceptable. It's a yes or a no. That's how we do business. That's how we operate. And keep in mind, a no today is much better than a no tomorrow or next week or next month. If you've done a thorough job qualifying and haven't skipped any steps or lied to yourself about their responses, then they should give you a solid yes, that's fine. Most are going to be agreeable to that. So let's actually close the sale at this point. We know at this point it's going to be a yes or a no. So now we're going to close the sale and get a yes decision. From here, we go over the estimate with them. We cover their total investment, okay? And rather than use the word of it's going to be this cost to mobilize, it's going to be this cost for labor, cost, say investment, fee, a one-time fee of, a total investment of. The word cost has a very harsh sound to it. It's a sales killer word. Delete it from your vocabulary would be my recommendation. After we give them the price, we shut up and we see what they say. It's not uncommon for a few minutes of awkward silence as your prospect thinks about what you've just shared with them. That's normal. You give them the price, you shut up. There could be a few minutes of total silence. That's totally normal. There's an old saying, he who speaks first loses. So just remain quiet. One of two things will happen next, a no or a yes, because that's how we frame the call. If they tell you no, try this. First, stay relaxed. Be like water, okay? Don't get all uptight. It doesn't mean you've lost the sale, not by a long shot. It's common to get 5 to 7 no's or what they'll see as issues before you actually get the yes. And by this point, you already know you've got a really close sale here, and you might just need to give them a little extra reassurance that they're making the right choice. So you can uncover and overcome each issue that they give you until you get a yes. And if you don't know what to do or where to go in the conversation, do not let yourself sound angry or frustrated, because once you've done that, you've already lost the sale. So here's how you handle that. If it's not going well, okay, and they're saying, different issues, and you're a little confused as to where to go in the sales process, politely try asking them why or how do you mean? This will uncover the truth in most instances, and they won't be able to put up a deflector shield to get rid of you. Let me show you how this works. This is a great tool. No, no, no. Why? Betsy Sue says, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. What do? Rather than start foaming at the mouth and say, what do you mean you can't do that? Blah, 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 blah. Just say, why? See what she has to say. This is way more than I was expecting to pay. Let's use our next tool. How do you mean, Betsy? Give her a chance to explain herself. After she says whatever, you can start selling value. The price is too high. Why? See how we can keep flip-flopping between these two why and how do you mean? Because I cannot afford that. How do you mean? You see what I mean? We're not getting defensive. We're not getting frustrated. We're trying to work the issue. I can't afford that. How do you mean? Have them tell you what they mean. Is it that they don't have $3,000, $4,000 to put down as a deposit on their card? Where are they coming from? Because if that's the issue, what could we do? Do we offer financing in-house? Maybe we can split it up into payments. How can we help you with this? Okay, that's how we use these two tools of why and how do you mean. So this simple approach is better than getting defensive and will let you get information from them as to where to go with the conversation. Pretty cool, huh? Now, what happens when they tell you yes? We've worked so hard to get to this point. So they tell you yes. What do? I'll show you how we do it. And I call this the easy way, is we have them e-sign a contract, text them a payment link, or just use the app on the phone and run the card right there and collect their deposit. Okay? So if we've got them on the phone, what we do is we quickly text them over an e-sign agreement for them to sign. Then after they sign that, we then give them here a text link to pay the invoice. And the money's just deposited straight into the bank account like so. So let's do a quick recap on what you've learned today. You've learned how to pre-qualify your leads for high probability sales from any marketing channel. You've learned how to not get ghosted by conducting an estimate review call. And you've learned how to one-call close high-ticket excavation or septic jobs by framing the call in advance. And if you follow these steps, guys, I promise you'll win more sales than you lose. You'll still face rejection, but on the front end before you drive out there and waste a lot of time. And you'll have a predictable sales process you can count on. And you'll save a lot of time, which is your most valuable asset, in my opinion. You'll have more confidence in selling your services. And this way feels much better than chasing prospects who do not want, need, or can afford your services. Okay, so for those of you who are interested in a complete sales system for your excavation or septic business, I'll invite you to schedule a call with us. You can go to schedule or just text schedule to this number here, 727-732-3244. Or you can type into chat here on the webinar schedule, or you can go to our website, excavationmarketingpros.com/schedule. At which point, after you do that, there will be a calendar to pick a date, and you can also there's a short survey about your business. Fill that out, and it streamlines our call. So during this call, you'll get a full marketing and sales strategy, a complete analysis of your online visibility, custom keyword list of the most important search terms for the jobs you want, ranking report showing where you currently rank at, analysis of online directory listings and consistency, analysis of online reviews and reputation, analysis of your social presence, analysis of website conversion effectiveness. And if you like that, just text schedule to 727-732-3244, or just type in chat schedule, or visit excavationmarketingpros.com/schedule. You'll get a link that's going to link to a calendar like that. You just pick a day and a time, and then there is a brief questionnaire that we request you answer those questions, and then we can speak. So takeaways, what did you learn? What did you notice? What would you like to share? If anyone would like to share anything or have any questions, anything like that, you can type it into chat. And if you have, if you need some help, you can type "let's talk" into comments. So we'll do some frequently asked questions. If any of you have any questions, go ahead and type those into chat. Any quick questions? If you'd like to schedule an excavation accelerator call, again, text schedule to 727-732-3244, or just type in the chat schedule, or visit us online, excavationmarketingpros.com/schedule. Okay, so let me check chat, see if we have any questions here. Eric is asking about rebuttals. What if they say like the price is too high? What do you do? That's a good question. So Eric, if they say the price is too high, what I would recommend you do first is don't lower your price for the sake of lowering your price, because that's a race to the bottom. And your price is your price, okay? If you've done the numbers, you need to be giving a price based on a certain profit margin that you want on the job, okay? So I would ask them first, when you say the price is too high, how do you mean, right? And I showed you that tool, and see what they say. Have they gotten other quotes that they didn't fess up to earlier? How do they mean the price is too high? If they just say flat out, you know, I had no idea it would cost this much, I would sell more value, explain the value of what they're getting for that money. So for instance, in this job, it's a septic tank installation, right? In this example, we could say something to the effect of, you know, the price is high, but you do get a lot for what you pay for. And it's better to invest more than expected and get what you want than to pay too little and get nothing but headaches for your money. So the difference is this, that when you get a septic installation from us, we include in the very first year a maintenance plan at no additional cost, where we will come out 3 times to check over and service the septic tank for you. And most companies are going to charge you for something like that, or some just don't even do it. We do it because we want this to last for years to come. And we use the finest quality tanks that there is. And so this way you can count on this lasting for many years, even decades. And so that's why this is going to be a little bit more than expected, but in the end, it's well worth it. Does that make sense? See what they say to that. See if that overcomes the issue. So you see what I did there? I just, you know, added a little value to it is all. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Is there any other questions? No, I guess we're good. So I will go ahead and bring up the reward screen. So for those of you that have stayed to the end, here's your reward to get the ultimate excavation and septic sales script. Go to excavationmarketingpros.com/magic script. And that will give you a printable script that you can use and take with you. So when you get calls, you're prepared to handle them. You got your script right there. And so there you go. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, guys. I wish you well, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.